news. Not coming out till about 7:30, but we do have some pretty big news this week, actually. So price should get jumping around 7, 8 o'clock. So cool, good to know. Let's go ahead and hop onto our chart and see what's going on. Man, this is a trade I entered yesterday. Funny enough, right as we had that pullback from news. And after we did, I just closed it to be safe because it was more of an aggressive entry, but glad I did. I would have got taken out during Asia, but overall that is playing out as well. The POI that I sent out yesterday and the what's it called? Forex outlooks had finally hit. The one we were looking at from this week on Euro USD from a supply perspective. I sent out the outlook saying that we had tapped in, or we were coming into it before news happened. After news tapped, we got that nice push away really fast. So hopefully some of you were able to catch that. But realistically, expecting those those sells to play out for a little bit. Realistically, at least probably until demand here. But overall, we could see even more of that, right? If price is actually wanting to continue on bullish for a while, right? We definitely can come down into these areas and look to continue buying, right? So not necessarily saying we have to sell forever, but I do want to see sales continue momentarily. Now, let me just check GU to make sure it's the same. GU ended up just going for some external liquidity. So we ended up getting that nice clean break of structure as well as that liquidity sweep, right? So EU, same kind of deal. I want to see price pull back a little. I hate that I have these on here because they're a little bit ugly, but I want to keep them there so I can go over it with the weekly recap. So let's go back up. But yeah, GU going to be looking for about the same. Probably just going to trade EU though today because it's a little bit cleaner off of that POI. Now USD CAD, I don't have a POI at the bottom, right? But all of this liquidity I've been wanting to go for a while is we grabbed a little bit more of it, took out this low, still respecting the overall area though. I really would like to see all of this go. So Euro, USD CAD, I really want to see continue selling. But if what's it called, GU and EU are starting those buys and are actually ready to kick in real buys, it's likely that this is going to buy up and probably take out liquidity up here, something like that. USD CAD's been kind of ranging for a while, so we'll see what actually happens there. But let's go ahead and hop into EU a little more. Go down to our hourly. We see we have what? This is some type of demand. This was our discount POI over here. Right, reason being is it led to this break of structure. All right, so we've got that there. So now that price is tagged in, I would want to see at least this logo, because in my opinion, that's where the liquidity would be here. It swept out already, cool. But yeah, that's where I would think the liquidity is resting. So from an M15 perspective, see what we have. Once again, this is what I sent out for. That arrow was from what I wanted to see from yesterday. I was on a call with one of my mentees and we had briefly went over this before it happened, and then price played out literally right after. So that was pretty nice. But yeah, so for buys, I want to see a break above here, to be quite honest. Let me add my sessions on real quick. Cool. So we have grabbed those lows from Asia. So if we can see 5-minute and things like that start to give us buys, we can take them. But realistically, without 15-minute breaking, we are still in a risky position, right? We know higher time frame sales are playing out. We know lower time frame, we could at least get these buys to clear up some of that liquidity from yesterday. Maybe tap into here, if not even grab some more of that. But yeah, we'll see what happens as we go lower. Can delete this real quick. Alrighty, 5-minute. This was our low. High was there, so we technically do have some form of a very minor change. Yep, and that's our M1 confirmed. And now as well, we did have that mitigation. Now we are stacking up some liquidity here. in an overall perspective, but we have seen, looks like price is going for this break. So if it does, we can start to look for more stuff in here. More so, I want to see something like this. Now, from a sell perspective, our discount POI would be something in here. So once we clear all this liquidity, we can see this hit. Or we could see a charge here. Up in here would be supply. See if we can find a cleaner perspective. Okay, we'll go 2 minute. So these are zones I'll be looking at. And I want to see those buys come through. Now, obviously, if we do tag in the sells, since that's what's been happening, and we do know we did hit that daily POI, we'll still look for sells. But overall, right now, I do, because we're in demand, just want to pay attention to buys as well. We've got a nice sweep of those Asia lows, right? Never grabbed the high side, right? Really just came up in here and really dropped relatively equal highs. We didn't really do anything absolutely special here. GU, same kind of deal. Mitigated this after our break is structured, gave it this discount here. Broke here. Now we'd be looking for some type of mitigation of this. Anybody have any questions? Everything of what I'm saying making sense? So M1, we have this discount here, or we technically have these equal lows that price could come all the way down to this extreme for if it would like. So if it wants to take a run on all that liquidity, I'd expect it to go at least to this right here. Just waiting to see that pull back down. See what USD CAD looks like. Excuse me. GU giving that pullback into demand. EU might run without us. We'll see. Coming into that supply, that discount. Okay, blew straight through it. Technically, the POI is still valid till here, but the main part of it has now been taken out. So, see what happens. So overall, it's just holding this wick supply right now. Want to see this pull back down into here. And then I want to see this buy up and through. GU we just went over a minute ago, so give me a second and I'll come back. Just want to see what goes on here first, as this is the one I actually want to trade today. Might end up looking at GU, but we'll see. In GU, I'm looking for the same things, right? I want to see those buys play out, but right now, kind of want to see sells down into demand, and then I want to buy up from there. Still no type of reaction yet. News when? We have news coming right now. 4 o'clock. Yeah, so in 2 hours. Cool. So price is still gonna buy through that, no problem. And those buys just came in early, so cool. What made the market bullish this week's? I mean, price action. I don't really have a great explanation for that. Price action and just that's what I wanted to do. Looking for price to pull back into these areas and then probably keep buying. It's really high in that supply, so likely that we won't actually end up selling. See though. Where's London open here? We came down for buys. Cool. Let's see what GU hit. GU actually hit extremes. So it's liable to sell, but this extreme didn't actually break structure. Did it do anything to the left? Not much. Going back off supply. Still want to see this get hit. I want to see this get swept. Just gonna move this over here real quick so it's not in my way. See what GU's doing. Yep, coming down as expected. Want to see a nice sweep of this into there to get those buys going. Come down a little bit lower. Before we get here, let me just check to make sure we didn't mitigate anything here. As long as we didn't, those cells are valid. We do this little fractal POI in here, but I don't really want it to hold. Now, GU just hit our buys, so we'll see what happens there. EU still hasn't swept yet. It's going for that low yet. Right now, though. GU digging really deep. See that sweep? So buys can really start playing out now whenever they're ready. Okay, we hit my little wick demand here. See if we get a reaction. Not as of yet. Looks like volume may just keep on selling. Or not volume, sorry, price action. USD CAD hit those buys as well for 15-minute. See where M1 charge is here. So if I get that break, we can start looking for buys there. And this ended up not holding. So those cells are playing out from yesterday. So cool. Look for stuff in here. EU is still buying though off that sweep. Liquidity in both of these though. So if it just grabs that and comes down, we can keep selling. We want to see a nice push through this with good volume. GU still respecting that. Wait, no, it looks like it may have just wicked that extreme. Okay, Euro USD starting to play out a little bit. I want to see more volume before I do buy, but these buys are now valid because that sweep has happened. We're already bullish. We don't really need too much, right? So we can really just bounce off of this and look to take more buys and keep taking them up. Target is once again this here. Could say something like this, right? Really, TP2 really is the supply because they can give a reaction. And TP3 would be this here. And then obviously higher time frame will have more TPs. So we're now back in that supply. I want to see this push straight through. If we don't, we're going to end up continuing those sells. GU as well, getting those buys as expected. Came in a little bit later on GU than expected, but still overall doing what we want. Up a little bit on these buys that I caught off the sweep here. Had just those with stop loss right below the sweep. Want to see that take this high out, and that'll be first partials. Well, really could take partials here to be safe in case the supply reacts, but after that we can see price keep going. Would it be considered at discount demand zone and mitigated on the mid time frame? Wait. Practicing on you now, would it be considered at a discount demand zone and mitigated on 15? You said mid time frame, assuming you mean 15. That's kind of what I have it built off of right now that we've mitigated this. Discount here, yes, created some type of lower time frame charges, nothing higher yet. But yes, I agree. So we are sticking around in here. So I will go ahead and take partials. If you did grab a little buy off of this, take a little bit off. No reason to kind of play with this right now. Once again, we want to see that nice clean volume push through to show that this supply is not in control. But yeah, literally did exactly as we wanted. If you look at the lines here, we wanted to see supply here, pull down and grab some liquidity. If not, maybe hit this POI. But as I said, when we got here, once prices swept that, buys were valid and it could go anyways, right? It didn't have to actually hit this POI. So once again, completely valid trade. As long as you're one of your entry models is, based on liquidity sweeps. Not everybody uses liquidity sweeps for their entries because it's a little bit more aggressive. And if you don't understand what's going on, it's easier to lose. But overall, if you do, very nice entry from there. So just looking to see that volume push through here. We can play around a little bit, but we just don't want to see real structure start coming back in. And there we go. So first target hit. Going to move on to 5 minute now and start looking at where else we can be going. All right, theoretically, we know we're still looking for this high to go. Equal highs on that too, so definitely should be looking at that to go. Still going to have the supply here in case so we can monitor what's happening. But yeah, otherwise we could look for these highs to go and things like that. Now, I will say we're reacting off this high really fast. So I want to see a closure above this. If we don't, I'd probably cut a good portion of the position here. We've already hit that first target and we're not seeing the reaction we really want. So no reason to just be kind of holding on to this, hoping that, your life savings is duplicated in one trade. So the way that I manage a position like this, as I said, take off like half here because I wanted to see that nice closure above. And then as well, move stop loss to break even, which would be right around here. If price comes down to mitigate this and takes me out, it is what it is, no problem. But that's just what I like to do for my position management. Is the first POI still valid on EU? Do you mean as in this demand or supply? The demand I wanted to hit, but price already did what it needed to. So in this case, I really don't need to see this demand get tagged into again. And we already knew that all of this here was building liquidity. So probably actually wouldn't enter on that if price came back down to there now. Let's just see what happens. We'll give it a couple more minutes and then just gonna check some other pairs to let you guys know what I want to see for the rest of the day. But that's gonna be the trade for the call. GU and EU plus as well. We already went over what we are looking for in terms of our different POIs and things like that. So hopefully you were following along and marking up your charts as well. If so, you should have exactly what I'm looking at right now. And yeah. So as I said, right, expecting these buys to hold through this session, right? At least take out that liquidity from yesterday, this high right here, right, is what I would like to see go. So really, I'm going to adjust my TPs to what I'll be looking for. Want my final target as of here, right? My next target, really, I would like as this right here to come back into these areas, right? So I'm not going to look to take more partials until we hit this, or that, right? Go ahead and set my alerts. But yeah, that is what we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and send this in the question. What channel would you guys want something like this if I'm already in a trade but showing you where I want it to go? So for instance, like right now, I just want to update it so that if you guys are following along, you'll know what the different levels I was looking at and reasons being and stuff like that. But I don't really want to post this in intraday plays because I feel like those are for, trades that we've taken. Although to be quite honest, that seems like the best place because it is based on an intraday play. So let me go ahead and post this real quick so you guys have it. But yeah, cool. 1 minute, still no real volume coming in, but we are still pushing up. So that's really all that matters. And good. Here we go. We know all of this here is liquidity. So we'll be monitoring this as price comes in. But once again, this is equal high. So I really would expect price to take all of that out. Now coming back down for the pullback, I'd want to see this low go before I start looking for buys. Could look for them somewhere in here. But yeah, pretty spot on today. I mean, we knew exactly where price was going, was able to catch buys as soon as it did. And now we're just looking for our targets to hit. So yeah, as I said, posted GU on what I want to see. I mean, EU, GU, I'll post in the chat because we didn't actually take anything on this and it didn't validate anything yet. Just so you guys have the chart for the reference points I was using. EU, let me go ahead and set this in case we're doing something and it taps in quick. USD CAD, this is my 15-minute demand, but realistically, this was made off of a London low. So there is liquidity here. So it may just be a smart money trap. I honestly do think it is because if EU and GU are buying right now, this should push through this. But regardless, this is what current structure is telling us right now. So I'm going to leave you guys with that as well. So you can use that. But beyond that, yeah, that's about it for right now. GU still pushing. EU playing around, but doing its thing. Actually kind of mad about this one. Funny enough, I put the wrong position size on. So I'm, obviously in profit, but definitely should be at a lot more profit. It's kind of disappointing. Don't forget, guys, calculate your positions before you get in so that when you go to take your entry, you're not stressing, chasing it, or anything like that. You just click the entry, do what you got to do, and let it run. But yeah, letting that do its thing. Pretty simple. What concepts do you blah blah blah? Sorry. What concepts do you suggest learning to avoid traps in the market? Smart money, ICT, etc. Really, the answer to that is I wouldn't say all of them, but in a sense, that's almost the answer, right? Reason being is because traps are strategies, right? So for instance, smart money, we have smart money traps in the sense of supply and demand. Retail, we have retail traps in the sense of fake breakouts, builders up of liquidity, all of that stuff, right? So with that being said, when I'm looking for traps and stuff. I'm just looking for where's the majority of people entering and what are they thinking right now, right? Most people see that we had really big sells here, so they're going to keep looking for sells. Daily got tagged in and we've been selling, so they're looking for sells. So the liquidity right now is resting right here, right? Because everyone who's entering is entering against this move, right? So it's likely I want to see price come take out all of this, right? Because this is where all of our sellers are kind of putting their stop losses, right? So, and stop loss is just the easiest way to kind of explain what's going on, but I do want it to be very clear. I hear this around every now and then. It is not a stop loss hunt. The market could care less about your stop loss. They're definitely not looking for that. This is just where the liquidity is. As I said, in short, to explain it, it's easiest to just say, what's it called? The market is looking for stop losses, but regardless, that's not actually what it's doing. But yeah, cool. We've seen that sweep of liquidity. So this would be my last profit target before the day kind of kicks in that volume. So if we don't break this, obviously I'm not expecting this to go, but if this does, I have no questions that we can hit this. Does that mean we have to? Absolutely not. But regardless, as long as we can push through here, we're all good. So once again, just for anybody who's in the trade, if you haven't taken partials already, this is definitely the time I would suggest taking it. And then the rest, if you're someone who likes to hold, go ahead and hold on until TP3 or TP2, up to you. I understand. Thank you. No problem. No problem. How do you guys like the live call today? Everything making sense? You liking how we're seeing price action? Feeling good about, why I took this entry here, why we were looking at what we were looking at, things like that. I think I'm going to stop doing live calls next week, though. I think it's time to, just calm. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to stop. Never stopping. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not stopping them. Yep, in the blues. Love to hear it. I'm just saying, our London live calls, we kind of don't miss. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I think we've had since I started doing London live calls again, I think we've missed like 1 or 2 trades, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know why I have so much energy at 2 a.m., y'all, but we're here now. London is where it's at for real. 100%. The moves are a lot cleaner, faster, and nicer and everything. All right, and that's the candle for it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take partials here, break even, and let the trade do its thing. So I think that's a good time to call it as well. Now we're seeing this little bit of reaction, right? As I said, these are areas that I am looking at price can come back into, but I'm going to leave you all with a challenge. Let you play with that and see how you react to those zones, what happens as well. If you do take any trades based off of this or the outlooks or anything like that, always feel free to tag me in the chat. Let me know what you did, blah, 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 so I can give you your props or as well, just kind of see what you did. So Mazda, I missed the majority of the call. No problem. We're going to have more and more and more and more and more. Definitely not the last call. 1.08125 is where you suggest we enter. Nope. I don't suggest anybody to enter anything because if you don't know why you're taking your entry, I don't want you to be in the market. But these are 2 POIs that I do have that I would be personally paying attention to as price goes. Now, whether that be you enter on the POI, wait for a reaction, a sweep into it, blah, 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 that comes down to your strategy. But that's why I'm saying that number specifically, definitely not where I'm telling you to enter. Once again, in general, we will not tell you exactly where to enter ever, right? We're always just going to give you kind of a blueprint, right? What we want to see, for example, today, said I wanted to see price come from this POI down into here and start buying. Once we swept, started going over why this was valid for price to keep buying from here and where I wanted to go and so on and so forth. So I'll give you everything else but your entry and stop loss, right? Because it's the only part I want you guys to work for. The idea is to get you guys to, learn how to take your own trades, right? Not just be dependent on our calls, right? That's why we, do webinars, quizzes, and things like that. Options related target looks good for a potential swing. Maybe so. I haven't checked it. Got it. This is my first live call. Cool, cool, cool. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Do you make up your own strategy? Yes and no. Um, the overall idea of smart money concepts, institutional trading, has been coined by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not maybe even 1,000 people. Who knows? But the original concepts, I'm not exactly sure who came up with them, but most of the core concepts are the same. But little different things that I do, whether it be how I look for liquidity, what I target for the day, things like that, that's based on kind of my strategy. And that's kind of an example I use for a lot of my mentees a lot of times is we want to think of smart money concepts like a handyman, right? The different tools you'll need is kind of what jobs you can do, right? So if you want to catch super complex entries, say something like this, right? You needed to understand practically all of what I have marked up here. Now, if you want to catch just break and retest trades, okay, cool. Technically, you would have had high, low, break here, retest of your zone. You could have took an entry here, right? It would have got you the same results, but overall, this one I was able to find here after price had already given this. So the idea is just the more you understand, the more opportunities you're going to have, but that can be a good and a bad thing. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But overall answer, no, I don't make my own strategies, but yes, a lot of it is based on kind of what I wanted to do. Now, obviously, as well as I was talking, you guys can all see we had this nice little push here. So currently our entry, or my entry, I know not everyone was able to catch that, but my entry's up 1 to 10. So we're gonna call it here. Been a nice 30-minute live call to catch 10 times our risk. That's just how we do it out here in Cash Capital though. So hopefully you guys were all able to catch a little bit of what was going on today, make a little bit of profit, if not at least profit by learning. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end it here for the day. I hope you all had a great session, understood what was going on, and are happy with what you learned and or caught, picked up, or anything like that. So you all have a wonderful, blessed day. Hope you have, a great rest of the day. Find a bag of money on the street, maybe get free food at work, or who knows, whatever it is, right? But just hope you guys have a great day. And wow, EU is going parabolic right now. Nice volume coming in. What's GU doing? Good, it broke through that. I'm kind of mad GU played out like this because I actually did have an entry on the extreme here and I got taken out by a hair and then price ran up. So it is what it is, but as long as we catch EU, it didn't really matter. So with that being said, once again, hope you all have a splendid rest of the day, and I will talk to you later. Deuces. Actually, before I go, for the people who are still here, y'all want this recording? I don't ever post live call recordings, but today I just happen to be recording. Y'all want it? Let's see. Tag me in chat, at my name in the Forex chat. If I see enough people say they want the call, we'll drop it. But otherwise, not doing it. So tag me in the Forex chat, spam the Forex chat. If I see enough people, I'll upload it in the morning. Otherwise, it's another one for the vault. But you all have a good rest of the day, and I will talk to you later.